Light isn't on.
Oh. Well, I have it off. That's all right. It's going. I turned that light off.
Oh. Back in the 1920s, there was one big band among all of the Dixieland and all the others that stood out, and that was Paul Whiteman's band. He had a big aggregation, I guess about 15 musicians, which was almost unheard of in those days when bands were anywhere from 3 to 5 men. And his star trumpet player, Bix Beiderbecke, was real good jazz trumpet player for those days. He was very well known. The poor guy died. I say poor guy. He died when he was about 27 years old, but he brought it on himself. He was a pretty good drinker and carouser, but he was a fantastic trumpet player. And I've got one of his, not necessarily with the Whiteman Band, but one of his early recordings here that might be of interest to you.
You want to give about like the years that you're talking about?
Well, this is back in the 20s, when he died, I guess, in the early 30s. So this will be back in the early days. Yeah. Thou Swell is the name of this tune. It's not as loud as the other one, was it?
That's fine.
So that's Bix Beiderbecke. That's probably not the best thing that I could have found on him, but it's pretty hard. I've got quite a few recordings on him, but they're buried among hundreds and hundreds of other tunes and tapes, and they're awfully hard to find. I just ran across that one. Now, the later Dixieland band become a little more sophisticated. They had more men, and they played instead of just being individual solos, why they put background to it, and they had other instruments playing at the same time. And a good example of that is a New Orleans jazz band with the Muskrat Ramble. Here we go. That's not right. I don't know where this came from.
Is that it now?
No. Better turn it off. Now that's just one chorus. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, just one chorus.
You ready?
That's Muscat Neville.
So
Where are you now? We botched that up there. I told you we was going to get this, and you got that piano playing behind it. So what can we do here about this?
just say what it is again.
Okay. And here comes the Muskrat Ramble. I used to play some of this when I first started. Great music. That's me on banjo. And so forth. The next, I've got to take some time off and find out where Mama's Gone Goodbye the next one is.
Okay.
Here's Mama's Gone Goodbye. Here's an oldie. Mama's Gone Goodbye, but it's done with Al Hurt, who's the present day super trumpet player, Dixieland trumpet player. He has his own place down in New Orleans down there, and is very noted. And he and his band came up with this one. He was with Lawrence Welk. Al Hurt was with Lawrence Welk for a long time. Care to dance? Now we got Louisiana. It's another good old tune that they used to play all the time in the bands. A lot of these tunes are musicians' favorites, not necessarily the listeners' favorites, but they are that too. Otherwise, they'd never be so popular. But they're popular because, first of all, the musicians like to play them. Just like "Mama Gone Goodbye" and so forth. They just got to. What musicians like is good chord changes, and that they can ad lib to. And that's what makes them famous. When a bunch of good musicians get a hold of something that's got a good mess of chord changes. This one is Louisiana by the Alliance Hall Dixieland Band. Another version. That's not right. That's still "Mama's Gone Goodbye." We're blowing that one good.
It's fun listening to it.
Oh yeah, it's great to listen to.
Well, while we listen to the rest of it, tell us a little bit of difference between, like, this one that we just heard and, say, the last one, the what was it called? Can't remember now what it was called.
What, the name of the band? New Orleans Jazz Band and
Yeah.
and Al Hart.
Yeah, because there's a pretty distinct different sound. I mean, they're both jazzy, but I don't know. Can you
Yeah.
talk a little bit about the different sound there?
I'm just trying to think of what I can tell you about that. There's it's just the difference. The difference is in the personalities in the band. That's one thing about Dixieland Band. This might be something interesting to put on there, and that is the Dixieland Band, or where it solo, different instruments, take solos and so forth. Is you get to hear the style of that particular man, how he interprets the tune. And it's that makes the difference between these, because this group of musicians take the same tune and play it entirely different because they see it different. Just like painting a picture. Everybody paints a little different picture, even of the same subject. Did you get that on there?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I don't know with that light on whether it's getting it or not.
Yeah.
And a good example of that, I don't, the thing is I'm lost on this crazy tape. This isn't the tape that I got this on.
Well, I think you're not letting it run to the end of what you recorded.
No, that was 8 bars into the tenor solo. It should have ended. But went all the way through the tenor solo and it's still going, see?
No.
This isn't the right tape. This is probably the tape that I took the right tape off of, because I cut them all, like I said, I cut them all short.
Oh.
This one's got the whole shebang on it.
Okay. Now you don't have a record player, do you?
Yeah, but it isn't working. What do you have in mind?
Oh, I was just gonna say we could pull out the old record player and you could just go through some of your old records.
Yeah.
Just play, because then you can just play a few minutes of it and take it off when you're done, you know.
Yeah. Well, in a sense, I could do that same thing here. What we'd have to do is cut it at a certain time, you know, at like a chorus and a half. As soon as we had enough, cut it.
Right.
And then turn off the machine, and then I'd advance until the beginning of the next one, see?
Yeah.
Of course, you get these breaks all the way along the line then, too. That's not so good.
Well, it doesn't. I'm editing this anyways.
Huh?
I'm editing this anyways, so.
Well, boy, you're going to have a
breaks don't-
sweet time editing
the breaks
this.
don't matter to me.
You got to have something to start with to edit.
Do you still have a lot of old records of examples of all this stuff, or?
Not records. Records would be a cinch, because then you look at it and you see the number, and let's say number 6 on there or something like that. That's fine. Mine's all tapes. And tapes I've got coming out of my ears. Oh, I got loads of tapes. But my whole thing is, there's something loose. I've got a wire loose or something, because I can't get any sound to my speakers here from up here. And sometime when you're over here, maybe you can help me. I got to lift that bookcase out so I can get behind it and check those wires.
Yeah, we'll do it.
But even then, I'd only have tapes. I don't have any records.
Well, maybe that would be a better way to do it. Is just have a different tape for every different song that you want to use, and then you could just pop the tape in there, play it as long as you want, and then take it out and go to the next one. Does that make sense?
Not really, because each one of those tapes has probably got 100 tunes on it.
Well, but cue them up to the place that you want to.
Yeah. Well, I can do the same thing here. I've done it in a sense. I did the same thing here.
Right.
But the only thing is, I didn't want to play the whole record. If I wanted to play the whole record, it'd be a cinch, because I just go to the end and that'd be it.
Right.
But it was too long. I mean, you get tired to listen to the same thing over chorus after chorus. And that's one thing about Dixieland. They play lots of choruses. And so what I did on these, I've shortened them, you know, down to a chorus or chorus and a half. But this isn't the right tape, because the tape, here's the description of the right tape. And that one, the last one that went all the way through, should have ended after a chorus, to 8 bars into the tenor chorus. It should have ended. I think we better cancel this for the time being and
Okay.
And
try next week.
try it next week.
Okay.
I'll come up with another stunt. I've been afraid of this thing, because just exactly what has happened. I expected to happen, you know. I'd run out of talk, or I'd screw up the synchronization between the music and my voice,
Right.
and
Did you want to? Well, you could. You're recording all of these songs onto one tape, but they're all coming from different tapes, right? You could just find the tapes and have them individually labeled and say this is this one and this is this one, and then just put them in while we're going along here, and then you could just cut them off whenever, and then you wouldn't have to worry about how you recorded it, each one individually.
well, a much
guess-
easier deal then would be to just record them all on another piece, like I did this. But play the whole thing. That's what you're saying. Play the whole tune from beginning to end. What's screwing it up is where we stop.
Right.
And it's-
That's the thing.
But this isn't the right tape. That's what I say. I've got to find it. I don't know where it is. It's got to be around here somewhere. And
Well, we don't worry about it right now. We can do it. We can do it another time.
well, we'll have to because I don't know where in the world it is. Doggone it. Wait a minute.